are some new faces in the Greenhills Police Department, and we want to take a few minutes to make sure you get to meet them so you recognize them when you are around town in the village. Thank you for coming into the studio today.
You're welcome.
We have Sergeant Patton here, as well as Officer Holbrook and Officer Braun. Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely. Thanks for having us.
Okay, so you have these new faces on the force. Tell me first, before we get a chance to meet you more, what are the things you look for when you're looking to add new faces to the police force?
Well, obviously it's to fill vacancies, but we're also looking for candidates that would fit in our environment. It's a small town that they want to, work in a smaller community. And there's advantages of that, and there's also disadvantages. The advantages is people get to know you, and you're more approachable than, say, if you're working for like a larger city where you're just running from call to call. Here you can actually interact with residents and that kind of stuff. And these gentlemen expressed that that's what they were looking for, and so far it has worked out great.
So do you officers feel like you are particularly approachable and a good match for a small town?
Yes, of course.
Excellent. Let's start with you, Officer Braun. Tell me a little bit about your background, where you're coming from, and what made you come to Green Hills.
Yeah, I came from a family of first responders. My dad being a fireman, my uncle's a police officer as well. Growing up, I've always been having an interest in police work, and I knew I wanted to get into a smaller community like Green Hills, and I applied and went through the process, and I saw they have a lot of qualities that I was looking for in a department, and now I'm here.
And how about you, Officer Holbrook?
So I've been in law enforcement for almost 7 years now. Time flies when you're having fun, I guess. But I came from Clear Creek Township. That's where I started my career at. Wonderful department in Warren County. Did a short stint as a school resource officer as well for Butler County. And when I saw Green Hills was applying, it was exactly that. Community policing, that's my number one thing. I want to interact with people. I don't want to run call to call to call. I want to be approachable. I want to talk to kids, adults, just everyone. I want them to know that we're people too, right? So that was the biggest thing when it came to applying to Green Hills, and I'm excited to be here and excited to meet the community.
And we've had Chief Fertelman in here talking about the kind of training. Sometimes folks think of, the village of Green Hills is pretty small, and but there's a very high level of training that happens with your officers in the department.
Yes, there is.
What are some of the specific things that you're really impressed that your officers get to do?
Well, first, if they get sworn in and everything, they'll go through an FTO program, which lasts up to 14 weeks, could last longer. And we instill in them the values of Green Hills. There's a lot of history there. There's a lot of people that they grow up there, they raise their children there, and then their children come back and they live there. So there's a lot of history there. It's an approachable town, walkable town. Guys get out and they walk on foot in the evening and that kind of stuff, check doors, walk around the community, interact with our residents, and that's the key. That helps us keep our crime low. We do help out the surrounding departments when needed and asked, so it's a great place to work.
And what is the size of the whole department? How many officers do you have altogether?
Right now we've got one hired. We're trying to hire one more. We hope to get up to 10 or 11.
Okay, so you're almost there.
Yeah.
And we'll be able to hopefully find a new face to also get to introduce again in the future.
Yes, we have one in FTO right now.
Okay.
So.
Excellent. If I were to ask you, what's one thing you really want the community of Green Hills to know about you? Let's start with you, Officer Braun. What would you want to tell them?
I would just say that I'm very approachable. If they have any questions, feel free to, if they see me driving around, wave me down, have a conversation with me, get to know me. I look forward to meeting them as well.
And same question for you.
So I hate to piggyback off that, but he took it right out of my mouth there. The biggest thing, especially in the climate in today, is knowing that we're approachable, right? Don't ever hesitate to flag us down, even if you just want to say hi or introduce yourselves. Like Sergeant said, with a small community, we can start to get to know the residents and know them by first name when I'm, passing through the village. So always feel free to approach us. We'll talk to you. If we're not running to a call, we'll stop. If we go past and we accidentally don't wave or something, just know maybe we're running to a call. We mean no ill intentions with that. So, but yeah, always approach us for sure.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And we keep talking about getting to know you, and it's not just a comfortable kind of friendly thing to do. It actually helps you do your job better. If you know who's supposed to be around in the community, who's part of the community. Not only will they feel more comfortable talking to you when they need you, but you'll know who's supposed to be around and who's not usually in the neighborhood.
Of course.
All kinds of things like that. It will help you do your job well.
Yep.
So if you're watching this and you see these folks around, make sure you say hello. Make sure you make them feel welcome to the village and part of the neighborhood, because this is part of your community now. Before we finish, if we have any really young viewers watching this and they're thinking, I want to grow up and be a police officer, how do I get to be in the same seats with Officer Braun and Officer Holbrook? What do they need to start doing if they want to grow up to be a police officer?
Well, we'd welcome to have the child come up to our police department, give them a tour, explain to them what, it's not like you always see on TV. It is a great career, great opportunities. And a lot of times, if you arrest somebody, if you handle it properly, you'd be surprised how many people come back and say, hey, you know what? Thank you. You treated me with respect. It meant a lot. I was having a bad time of the day, and you don't hold grudges. It's, it goes a long way. So it's very easy. You got to do good in school, obviously. Make sure you stay away from the drugs but it's very rewarding.
Okay, so if you're listening, kids, you have to do well in school. That's still part of the equation. If your plan was to become a police officer to get out of that, you're out of luck. That's not part of it. But another key part of that plan is go meet the real police officers. Go visit the real police department, because what you see on TV is not the real police department. So if you want to see what it's really like, you should go visit. You should give them a call and find out when you can do that. Mm-hmm. So, well, thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to make sure we get a chance to tell the village?
Not really. Just come up and see us. I mean, we've got the police department's attached to the fire department. All the fire department members are there. We can show them their trucks. They're more than welcome. Everybody's approachable in Greenhills. So it's a great community.
And just to piggyback, a few things we're adding. With COVID the restrictions starting to get lifted and stuff like that, we're going to reintroduce Citizens Police Academy. We're going to get that back up and rolling. Hopefully some self-defense classes that'll actually probably be ran by myself or Officer Braun here, that at any point you can call us, 513-825-2101. And say, hey, I'm interested in that self-defense class, or I'm interested in going to the Citizens Police Academy. And that's something, not right now, but hopefully soon we're going to get back up and running for the public here. Another thing we're going to do, what is it, Sarge? Park meetings? Park talks. Sorry, I'm new here, so I don't know the exact verbiage. But we're going to be doing park talks again, where a few officers, maybe Chief Fertelman, the municipal manager, I mean, it really just depends on who we have available. We'll be at certain parks in the community, and of course we'll make notice of when that's going to happen, and people can approach us, talk to us about their concerns, or once again, just to come meet us and talk to us. So things like that we're hoping to bring back as soon as all these restrictions start to continue to lift.
So if folks are interested in finding out when you schedule the self-defense classes and the police academies and the park talks and all of the things you're talking about, where can they keep an eye on for that posting?
So our website is updated pretty regularly at greenhillsohio.us, I think is the actual...
greenhillspd.org.
Yeah, if you just Google Greenhills, Ohio, it'll show you our website. That's regularly updated. Like I said, that number I provided, that's a direct number to us. So if you can't find it for some reason online, you could call and say, hey, when's the next Citizens Police Academy or whatever. And one of us should be able to give you that information. If not, we'll take your name, number down, and get back to you as soon as we can.
Excellent. So that's exciting. There's a
Yeah,
whole
it's awesome.
lot of things coming up that we can keep an eye out for.
For sure.
I'm looking forward to getting to learn more about those and maybe getting to talk about those in the future.
Yeah, awesome.
Well,
Thank you.
Thank you for coming in. I really appreciate this time. We wanted to make sure that the Village of Green Hills got to meet you, and we look forward to seeing you around.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
I'm Dana Gagnon, Government Programming Coordinator at Waycross Community Media, and I will see you next time with more information about what's happening in the Village of Green Hills.